Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And how about a little fight on Friday?
Go! Dallas Cowboys! It's the go team of the senior pros. Let the whole world hear of you.
I know.
You don't like the go team of the senior bowl?
It's the horns. The horns make it all, okay? The horns give it status, but that...
You know what I'm going to start doing?
Is that the first line? That's the first line.
Yeah. Like last night, I was at home. I actually watched the game from home last night. And
so you got to bed early.
Yes, and we actually had a birthday party for my grandson at the same time. I was watching the game, and what I need to do in that situation, and I recommend this to Cowboys fans everywhere, if you've got speakers on your back porch like I do, play that fight song every time that the Cowboys are about to kick off.
And wake up the neighborhood.
Blare it through the... Okay, you can play it after a win, too.
Yeah.
In your case, well, you're talking about waking up the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But before the game, too, you got to play it, right? Let's have it blaring throughout neighborhoods across the world, in fact.
Jimmy, when he lived in Valley Ranch,
He would play the Aggie War Hymn.
he would play the Aggie War Hymn at times.
Jimmy Johnson had no connection with Texas A&M.
I don't know.
But
He liked the song.
He
It
loved
was
the
like
Aggie War
Celebrate.
Hymn. And so after a game, he would come home and he would blare the Aggie War Hymn on his stereo.
I thought Arkansas had some song that he was going to play.
No.
I just assumed that's what you were talking about.
It's strange. But here we are. It's a Victory Friday in the SWBC podcast studio. And this is Mick Shots, brought to you by Miller Lite and Mickey. Well, first off, welcome back, Everson. We missed you earlier in the week.
I have been such a busy man.
Well, it's a good thing.
Well, that's good.
To be
We
a busy
had
man.
the Kidney Texas Award, and they have named a Legacy Award after me, Everson Walls Legacy Award. And
Fittingly.
And Dr. Quigley, he's the president of Camp Reno here in Texas. And he does a good job with the kids. He was the one that received it this year. And he's one of those guys that's really good, of course, at being a nephrologist, number one. But number two, he juggles and he plays the violin.
Oh, wow.
So the kids love him. He's like a little Pied Piper or something. The kids love him. The kids love him. He was warming up back on stage. And I've never seen a violin before. Up close. I just never have. I mean, I've never had music. I can't even dance. And so I just asked him a few questions about it. I thought, was it a Stradivarius? He's like, no, it's not one of those. But he did say that it cost him about $500, man. Oh, yeah. For a freaking violin. I mean, it's only like this big.
If the Cowboys hadn't won last night, we'd be playing a violin in here today.
That's right.
That's a good one.
Mickey, what time did you and the team get in? You still have your cowboy blue on? Is that your undershirt you wore at the game last night?
I would have wish I had brought it with me. Didn't need to sit 3 hours in the plane with a tie on and a dress shirt. Yeah.
What time y'all get in?
4:15.
Coach has already done his coach's show. I did it 11 o'clock this morning, about an hour ago. Yeah.
Well, I could have done it because
he was wiping the sleep out of his eyes.
I got
no sleep out of his eyes.
I got up at about 4:15.
Yeah. You could have met Mickey at the airport and given him a ride home.
I just made one stop and came right back.
I got to sleep.
So that was my reason for being up at 4:15.
Come to think of it, I did the same thing.
Right. See, I've done it several times.
Got to sleep.
Did it at 2:15.
You guys are sick.
And then again at 6:15.
That's right. Yeah, probably.
I got another hour.
After a while, I got time to time it. Yeah.
Got to sleep at 5 and up at 8. 3 hours. What more do you need?
There you go.
Yeah, let's go.
5 o'clock?
5 o'clock got to sleep.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a quick game.
You look good for somebody that was getting
3 hours sleep.
No, for real. That's the
And I can't sleep on the plane, so I work basically the whole way. But yeah, it was. I think the plane landed about 4:15, and by the time we got our luggage from underneath, and drove home. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And here we are.
man.
I figured you'd have your referee hat on today.
I needed to.
Just bring one in, and you could chop it in half or something with an axe.
I thought those guys were getting paid by the flag.
It was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah, I thought Tyler Guyton was kind of being picked on a little bit. God, they were going at it on that end. You know
what they need to teach him to do is not put his hands up in like a surrender position.
Yeah.
Because I think it tells the official that he thinks he just held,
Yeah.
so I'll just go ahead and throw the flag.
You know, the other thing they need to teach him, and they finally taught Tyler Smith, is once you make your block, you're good. You don't have to pancake the guy
Right,
onto
every
the
time.
ground.
Right.
And he basically not tackled him. He pushed him and landed on top of him from behind.
He wants to finish him off.
Yeah.
There was one time, I think that was late in the game. I guess it was fourth quarter. The defensive lineman tripped over the Cowboys guard. He tripped over the back of his foot. They called that a takedown.
Right.
But he made an inside move. The defensive end made an inside move on Guyton.
Fell on his own.
And he fell on his own. He tripped over the guard's foot because as he was taking him down inside, the guard was being taken back, and that's who the defensive end tripped over. And it looked like another takedown, but he tripped over the back of the guard's foot.
And I got a problem with this one too. So the free play when I think it was Thibodeau
Yes.
jumps off sides.
And so
And
he
then
saw offsides, and then
And
Tyler
then they called
gets called
Guyton for holding, but he held him because the guy had 2-step head start.
Yep.
That doesn't make sense.
Now,
You got to
here's-
just
here-
let that go.
But if I'm the referee, Guyton's man is the one that jumped.
Yes.
So he should have known not to touch him.
Oh,
He
you
should have
mean
known
from
that
Guyton.
is a free
Yeah,
play.
but
In
he's
fact,
a-
that's in fact, I was going to ask Coach about that this
He's
morning.
a rookie.
Yeah,
No,
and see,
no.
all he knew, he was just reacting to the fact that, hey, he's getting
Yeah.
close to my quarterback.
I was going to ask McCarthy about that, and then ran out of time this morning. About with a young player, how do you coach them on that? And you have to have an awareness that the flag was thrown on the guy, and
He had to see it because
it's right there.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, and
Can't count
but
on
you
it.
also have to. You don't want your quarterback killed too.
Yeah, you can't just go, hey, we're about to get a free play. Bam! Yeah, I got
And
That cost him an interception.
that. It did. So, yeah. I mean, it was God.
I just think you got to process that. That guy got a head start, and he grabbed him because he got a head start, and he was at fault first.
Well, now,
what
if,
they
you, if
cost
you're a
him intercept?
defender,
What are you
that-
talking about?
Didn't
One
it-
second. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, it cost him.
It was they had a completion,
interception.
a
It
was a
completion to the
completion.
29-yard
It was a
line.
completion.
Yeah,
It cost them at least 3 points.
Yeah,
it was a
that's what I
completion.
meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sitting there going, "What are you talking about? I don't remember an interception."
Well, they had
No,
one.
it's a completion to Tolbert down to the 21,
Lawson jumped
29-yard
off
line.
sides when they had the
Yeah,
interception.
they
down
took
the
away a 26-yard completion.
Yeah.
And on what would have been a free play.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's your main takeaway from a win on the road against a division rival, 20-15?
against a team everybody was promoting as the next best thing since sliced bread.
And now all of a sudden they're not. They're
And
not
now
good
it's like,
anymore.
well,
I'm
it's
like,
the
wait a minute,
Giants.
what happened to this
that's-
narrative?
yeah, that's
Man, that's so crazy.
You
I woke
can't
up this
have
morning
it
like
both
everybody's
ways.
like, are they worse or better? Wait a minute, I thought. Oh wow!
I was telling everybody, watch out for these Giants. Now have this Malik Neighbors, who is a CD Lamb type
Yep.
player, and so they finally have an elite wide receiver. So there's a real threat there. And if you look at their roster and size it up against the Cowboys roster, there's not a whole lot of difference there in certain positions. And so my takeaway from the game was, thank God they came away with a win there.
No.
Yeah.
It was not just that. I like the way we came away with it because we were deliberately sacrificing one facet of the game for the other. I thought, and it just reminded me of playing with Tom Landry with the flex defense. You guys in the back, you're on your own. You better handle it back there because we're gonna commit to the run.
Right.
That's what Tom Landry always did with the flex. That's why we gave up a lot of passing yards because they were the goal of the entire defense is to just stop the run first before we do anything else. And of course, that's what the Cowboys did last night, and that's why Daniel Jones was able to have such a good game, especially through the first 3 quarters of the game.
And the way I looked at it, that regardless of style points, and Dak basically said it afterwards, these are my words, but a win is a win is a win. On the road, divisional game,
yeah.
and what you just went through for 2 weeks,
Yes.
that you were able to walk out of there with a win. And as Dak said when he was asked about the win, and he said huge,
It's huge.
huge, especially if you consider the alternative.
I saw that. Yeah,
Like-
and that's it's nothing.
only 2
That's
and-
nothing but facts.
It's
nothing
only
but
2
facts.
and 2, but
Right.
it sure beats the hell out of 1 and 3.
and losing against a divisional opponent.
Right.
Yes.
So
You went in there. You took care of business. You know, there was some fact. You did exactly the way you wanted to do it. You wanted to stop the run. You stopped the run. I don't care what they say about the linemen or what's going on with their running game. Before this game, they were talking about how that running game had possibilities with Singletary.
Right.
That's all I kept hearing.
and he kept hearing how good he was through his career.
How good their defensive line is, how good their front 4 is.
Dexter Lawrence?
That's all I kept hearing.
Did you ever hear Dexter Lawrence's name?
Yeah. I mean, I heard of it before the game.
Yeah.
And the way we ran the ball, we did pretty well as well. We moved the ball when we needed to. It's just the penalties. We've got to stop with the penalties. And I know it wasn't all Guyton.
And you know what? It wasn't 1.1 yards per rush. It was 1.08 yards per rush. That got rounded off.
Yeah.
1.08.
Mickey is pointing at the TV monitor on ESPN.
Get it right.
and,
Get it right. Get it right, damn it.
He's pointing at the TV monitor on ESPN as if everybody listening is looking at the same thing we are.
No, because
and
I
they're
was
showing
just
Giants
getting ready to
1.1
point that
yards
out.
per rush.
Because it says in here 1.1, but in the Cowboys notes they put 1.08.
I really don't. When I say I don't care, I do listen to the narratives after the game, Cowboy fan and all of that. But I was very surprised, and it seemed as if you can't win as a Cowboy fan. You can't win as a Cowboy player because everything is so pessimistic
It's
about
never good enough.
anything that we do. When Washington beat the Giants, I didn't hear anybody else saying anything bad about that.
Look what
They
they're
talked
showing on
about how-
ESPN right now. Oh, they took it off now, but they're showing on ESPN the Cowboys' next 6 opponents.
Yes.
Okay. And their chances of winning and the percentage chances
There's
of
a
winning.
prediction of gloom and doom.
And so
They
the
can't
next
talk about
5
the win. They're going to
the
talk
next
about
5
what's coming up in the future.
The next 5 opponents, the Cowboys have a less than 50% chance of winning those games, according to the graphic they just showed on ESPN. Okay, so if the Cowboys do happen to win one of those 5 games, there will be the same narrative that is this morning about this team.
Yeah.
That, of course they're going to win that game.
Well, it
The
doesn't
other
matter
team was
until you
playing
get
without.
to the playoffs.
Right.
By the way, you got to get to the playoffs.
No, they're saying we won't make the playoffs.
I want to take a snapshot of that graphic and say, okay, you've predicted basically that the Cowboys are going to lose the next 5 games.
And the other thing, let's consider this. They were without, by the end of the game, their top 3 defensive ends.
Oh, my
right?
God.
If we count Sam Williams, he's gone. Lawrence is gone. Micah's out. They're out there playing with some guys you probably hadn't heard of.
I told my son, we got practice team players out there. I said, we were talking about this guy on the podcast who he's in the game.
Forget the edge rushers. How about the cornerbacks?
And then,
I mean, Everson got a call in the 4th quarter asking if he's at the game.
And you should have. Because when we found out that Carson was doubtful going in, and he was going to be out.
I did not know
That was the day before the game.
I did not know
They
this.
said they listed him as doubtful, which means he's not playing.
That was a surprise when I heard that.
So this means you don't have Bland. Now you don't have Carson. Who are you going to play?
You're out there with Booth.
So
Booth
when they
is trying
said,
his ass off,
so
man.
Booth is out there, and I'm going, Diggs has got to foul Neighbors, right? And then what happens? First play or whatever play, he falls down, and guys, it looked like the Green Bay game, back to the end zone, catching the ball wide open.
I gotta say that was a good move, though.
But you know what?
I've felt that move.
That
before.
guy, I mean, we saw it in preseason. He got burned on deep passes.
Right.
And it was like, what are they doing? And then they made the change at halftime, and OU.
Say it. Come
I'm
on,
going to say it.
Say it.
Oruwariye. How about that?
Very
was
good.
good.
I screwed it up on the McCarthy show
I
today.
practiced it in my sleep last night. He got told, like, I think he said it was Tuesday or Wednesday, be ready. And it's like, well, when did you find out you were going to get elevated and you're probably going to play? He goes, Thursday morning.
This number 27.
Yeah. And he'd been on the practice squad since August 29th.
By the way, that's his name from now on, number 27.
Number 20. In my notes, I just wrote down 27 anytime he did something.
He got a pick, man.
And he got a pick, and a very confident guy, because he's going, when the
that was
ball,
a nice pick.
When the ball's in the air, 100%, it's mine.
Yeah, you could tell the way he went up for that one.
Yeah.
That was a nice pick.
So he comes in the second half and ends up with 2 passes.
And then Diggs goes out.
And then Diggs goes out. They had Mukwamu at one spot and Oruwariye at the other one. And I'm going, holy moly, how are you going to exist here?
I mean, is that what they call a battle of attrition?
Well, it sure is.
Because we had so many people go down just when we needed them most. And you had young men stepping up and just doing their job. Nothing great about it. They just did their job. Of course, we had too many passing yards for Daniel Jones, but that's something that I'll give up as long as they're not turning into points.
And they stopped them for field goals. They didn't give up a touchdown.
That's right.
By the way, for Amani Oruwariye, you know how many interceptions he has in his career?
I think it's like 6 or 8.
Try 10.
Okay.
He's not a rookie?
No, he's not. He's 28 years old. He was a 5th-round draft pick of the Lions in 2019. Cowboys signed him after the final training camp cuts to the practice squad.
Didn't he have a single season with like 5 or 6 picks?
He had 6 interceptions with the Lions in 14 starts in 2021.
Wow.
So he's been out there before.
He looked like he knew what he was doing when he went up for that
that's
ball.
right.
He acted like
5th-round draft pick out of Penn State. Mm-hmm. So he played with, he would have been a little older than Parsons. Mm-hmm. But
when was he drafted?
2019.
Oh, yeah.
Parsons 2 years later.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, gosh, it's like, you got anybody else you can throw out there?
Yeah.
You got practice squad guys.
And in the fourth quarter, they did their job. I guess maybe the fresh legs. You never know.
You know what? And I think the other thing we got to consider is the amount of young players they'd been. Well, maybe it's starting to pay off. Like, getting a little experience.
They're coming
maybe.
of age a little bit.
Well,
and by the way, when we come back here on Mick Shots in a moment, there is a former Cowboys first-round draft pick who played his best game as a Cowboy last night. Who was that? When we come back in just a moment.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine says...
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Back to Mick Shots.
The schedule is set and limited tickets for the 2024 Dallas Cowboys season at AT&T Stadium are available now. Don't miss your chance to see your Cowboys live at AT&T Stadium when they host the NFC East rival Eagles, Giants, and Commanders, plus the Ravens, Lions, Texans, Bengals, and Bucks. Visit DallasCowboys.com/tickets or SeatGeek.com, the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, a fabulous football Friday, which is also a victory Friday for the Cowboys. And Everson, it's a big weekend for you as well, as Grambling State University is in town. The great State Fair of Texas
Grambling is ballin',
kicks
baby.
off, and Grambling plays Prairie View tomorrow night at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
So deep off in their behinds, it's going to be too much, baby. It's going to be hard to watch.
Grambling off to a 3-1 start this season.
Playing well. Won an overtime game a couple of weeks ago. Very exciting.
That was against Texas A&M Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course,
formerly East Texas State University.
Harvey Martin's school.
I was recruited there, by the way.
Yeah.
I told you that story. We never even went to see the guy. I knew I wasn't going there. I don't even know why I took the drive. Nah. That was just an extension of Bergner. That was not what I needed.
He was going to rather stay at home than go there.
Exactly.
What's the nearest community college to Hamilton Park?
Richland.
Okay, you were going to Richland instead.
My sisters went to Richland. So yeah.
Nothing against Richland.
Nothing against Richland.
I don't know about their
That's
football
a good way
team.
to, you know, take baby steps.
All right, Mickey.
What was your question?
My question or my tease before the break was there was a former Cowboys first-round draft pick who had his best game in the NFL last night. And I think we all are in agreement. Number 58, Mazi Smith. Give him props.
Yes, absolutely.
God,
Not only did he do a much better job of holding down the line of scrimmage, he ended up with 3 tackles. That's 2 games in a row with 3 tackles. I think one of them was for a loss.
Yeah.
And it was noticeable. It was noticeable what he was doing. I think it was Micah brought it up afterwards about Mazi. He kept talking about Mazi and saying when Mazi does what he does, that helps all the rest of us do what we can do. And you're exactly right. The other thing, if you think about, we talked about all the guys that went down, the backups had to come in, and Jerry was talking about how these guys are improving. They're getting reps. He said Now, that's hard to do when you have a couple outings like we had against the Saints, or if you really had against Baltimore. But we're putting things in the storehouse as the squirrels for the nuts in the storehouse that are going to pay dividends for us in the winter.
Just stop, man. This guy, man. Come on, man.
Holy Jerry. But he's right? It's like if you keep getting better and you keep, storing up
your
these
nuts,
reps,
storing up your nuts,
and then in the winter you're not going to starve.
No, I enjoyed the game. It's what we always talked about, how defensive recognition makes a difference in every game. I mean, these guys were not lost at any time. They knew where they were. They knew where their help was at all times. That's why it minimized the big plays. I mean, he had the cornerback out there. It was a hell of a route that Neighbors put on him. That's something that, a rookie's going to have to go through as far as outside of the game plan. Your rookie's got to play one-on-one. You can't give up the big plays. But when all is said and done, besides that play, you saw what the entire purpose of the defense was. You wanted guys like Mazi Smith to stop the run up the middle. Wasn't much about pass rush. Didn't care about pass rush. Everything was about stopping the run in this game, controlling the line of scrimmage from outside in. That's how we were able to control the clock. That's how we were able to keep these guys out of the end zone. They were not able to get that big first down run. So now they were always stuck with second and long, either through a penalty or just playing really good defense. So when you start talking about how well the defense plays, it controlled the entire pace of the game for us. Yes, Jones was throwing some good passes out there, some nice big plays. But, you're talking about, for the most part, 10-yard passes, 15-yard passes, but you're keeping them out of the end zone.
I thought the linebackers, the young linebackers, and I know everybody saw what Overshone did, but Leofau, I didn't see him taking false steps in this game like he did the previous game.
No one did.
And how about the safeties? We actually knew they had two safeties on the field.
They came up. They came up every time, minimizing big plays. And that's what I've been fussing about for the past 2 weeks. Just show some type of awareness to where we can keep things under control. I know we're not going to be the greatest defense ever, but at least we minimize the mistakes that we make.
And even Hooker, he almost had the pick, which
he has a good vertical.
It's a funny story. So they're taking all the players on the early bus. There's no more two buses come, two different times.
That's why they're 2-0 right now on the road.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And
change what they're doing on the road.
And so I was sitting way in.
Just do that at home now.
I'm sitting way in the back of the bus by myself. There's two seats. And Hooker came, and he looked around, and I had moved by the window, so he sat down next to me. And they're supposed to have a row to themselves, right? So we were getting ready to take off, and I tapped him on the shoulder. I said, "Hey, there's an empty seat over there. I'll sit there. You can sit here." He goes, "Oh, thanks, man." And I was going to say, "Well, just get me an interception." But I didn't do it, right? And then he almost had the interception. But he had a good game. Donovan Wilson finally played like Donovan Wilson.
Came up.
And smacking people.
The recognition was there from the secondary. That's what you want. The secondary is there, your last line of defense. You saw safeties coming up, supporting cornerbacks, supporting the linebackers when the backs were coming out of the backfield. No false steps like you talked about. Every time I looked up, I saw a safety that was not just one safety. You had more than one player around the ball. You had more than one player around the ball when the tackle was made. If you would have missed the tackle, I got you. You got me. That's what I was accustomed to seeing from every other team these first three games, except for us. This game was a difference.
And even Jordan Lewis, the open field tackles that he made to save.
When that guy ran the out route from the slot.
First downs,
they closed on everything. They closed. There were tight windows for their quarterback to have to fit some into, which he did a good job of. But we minimized the damage by not missing tackles.
And the biggest one, you got to make tackles on Malik Neighbors. And Overshone had a big one on a third down play where he made this. I went, wow, there you go. And I mean, it's one thing getting there. It's another thing being able to make the tackle.
As them young boys say, they brought their hat with them. They brought their hat with them. They were coming up hitting hard, and they were coming up fast. It looked like an entirely different team. Yes, I understand Giants are not as good as the teams we've been playing against, but you could still see the difference in our recognition and our effort and our pursuit to the ball.
And it was interesting how they were trying to defend Neighbors. I don't know if you could see it on TV, but when he went into the slot, they weren't manning him in the slot. Mm-hmm. They were basically zoning him. They had a linebacker and kind of a safety hovering around, and then the linebacker would pick him up early, and usually it was overshown.
Yeah.
And then the safety was over the top. So they did a really good job, because I was thinking, oh, you want to put somebody on him. But that's the way they decided to do it when he was in the slot.
Right.
And he motioned into the slot quite a bit.
Just like CD.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
the other thing on Mazi is I think the matchup was a good one for him. 61, the center for the Giants, John Michael Schmitz. He went to Minnesota, Big Ten guy, came into the league last year. He was a second-round draft pick last year, same year that Mazi came in. And
so they know each other.
Yeah, I looked it up.
They have a history.
Well, I looked it up, and Michigan didn't play Minnesota in 21 or 22. They did maybe play earlier, but this isn't a veteran guy that he's going up against. And I don't know, maybe you can speak to it. I mean, just from a confidence standpoint, once you get good reps and then you start building your confidence, even as a defensive tackle, it's no question with a cornerback, but even with a defensive lineman, you play with more assurity when you play with confidence.
He could have had that feeling against several centers in the past, but he didn't. So the fact that he has this one coming up now, I think it's just a matter of his maturity. Of course, having a younger center has something to do with it, but I've seen him perform less with guys that weren't as good as that center that he played against.
He was second-round draft pick. He's not like that center's a bad player at all.
Well, I mean, but this is the moment that he chose to finally come through and play like he played, and it seems like you said, it seems like he just knew it. He seemed like he knew it. I mean, he didn't seem surprised at what he was doing in this particular game. So what he's done now, he's put a spotlight on himself. Let's see how this goes from here on. Let's see how you play against the Pittsburgh Steelers center. Right. Let's see how you play against the Detroit Lions center. Let's see how that ends up.
Nuts in the storehouse.
All right, we continue on that note with more Mick shots in just a moment.
Someone didn't know. They wouldn't know.
Hopefully they did.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine says...
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Back to Mick Shots.
Support cancer awareness with the 2024 Crucial Catch Collection. The NFL donates 100% of its proceeds from Crucial Catch merchandise to the American Cancer Society to provide cancer screenings and resources to underserved communities. Visit a pro shop near you or log on to shop.dallascowboys.com, a fanatics experience, and join the fight against cancer.
All right, you had to pronounce all those.
Man, shop. I was like, wait, did I say that right?
Mickey, you're a big hockey fan, right?
I am.
And in hockey, they at the end of a game, they have like the 3 stars of the game. I don't know where that started, but so if you were to take that approach to the Cowboys offense last night, who are the 3 stars of the Cowboys offense last night?
Dak Prescott.
He's your star number 1.
Star number 2, CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
And star number 3, Hunter Lipkey.
Oh, my God.
All right.
My guy. My guy.
Well, how come everyone's stealing him from me?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
He's my guy, right?
I almost tweeted you guys, texted you guys last night. I was like, forget it. He'll make another play, which he did. Like Hunter Lipkey. Wow, what is happening
Well,
here?
think about it.
He's turning into a
you know what?
valuable piece
I have
of this
a prediction.
offensive puzzle.
Did you see how many snaps he got?
29 on offense and 15 on special teams. They do have a Pro Bowl spot at fullback.
Yes.
They have a fullback spot on the Pro Bowl team.
Yeah.
Kyle Juszczyk better look out. Kyle Juszczyk is an 8-time Pro Bowler, okay, because he's about the only one that ever puts up anything in
From
regards
that
to
position.
number of snaps he plays to stats. And there's now a new challenger for the fullback position on the Pro Bowl team, and his name is Hunter Lipkey.
They asked Dak about him, and then somebody said, do you have a nickname for him? He goes, no. He goes, I just call him Mike Allstott.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He goes, he
What
reminds
a
me.
historian of the game Dak is.
That's a good one.
Mike
That's a good one.
Allstott. But think about it. He picked up 3 first downs on drives that were potential scoring drives. 2 of them were. Caught 1 pass, had 2 runs for first downs, and he would have been 3 for 3 if Aubrey had hit the field goal. But they were drive-saving plays.
Drive extending.
And think about it. And in those situations, they were giving him the ball.
So you're not ready yet to induct Hunter Lipkey into the Cowboys Ring of Honor like Mike Allstott is in the Tampa Bay Ring of Honor.
Looked it up.
6-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champion, 3-time first team All Pro.
Really?
Mike Allstott,
Man.
he's now 50 years old. 6'1", 248 pounds, and that's basically what Hunter Lipkey is now. He came into the league at 6'1", 230, but he put up 15 pounds. He's up to 245. Juszczyk's about that size. But one of the big things on him is they're using him in a tight end role. There's a need on this team for a second tight end, and they're using him in that role, and that's how San Francisco uses Juszczyk a lot too. I mean, last game, I actually went this morning and looked it up because Kittle was out. I was like, who's playing tight end for the Niners? And I can't remember. It was a journeyman who played tight end for him, got 61 snaps. But Juszczyk got 40 snaps for the Niners in that game. And the Cowboys are using – there was an old thinking in the NFL that you can't play a 6'1" guy at tight end.
Right.
Okay? Well, these are 6'1" guys that are getting reps not as a traditional inline blocking tight end, but some of the same type of
if you have a fullback,
if
you have a fullback that knows how to block, and fullbacks block, blocking is blocking.
Yep.
So you've hit big linemen before.
Yep.
You can do the same thing at tight end. Big linebackers, the same thing at tight end that you could do at fullback. So I must admit, when I was really impressed with him was in the game that we lost. That was in the comeback, but I think it was the comeback against Baltimore, and he caught a deep pass down the sideline.
Yep.
And it didn't look like he was fuss. It didn't look like it was a big deal at all. He just brought it in.
Very natural.
It was very natural.
like
Brought
a
it in
wheel
like a tight
route.
end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, okay. And I think I actually did text that out to you guys, but I spelled his name wrong. L-I-P, not L-U-E-P. So yeah, I'm impressed with him. But if I was going to go with my three, Dak, CD, and whoever the hell was able to come up with the scheme to get CD open better. It was different. The scheme was different in how we played CD and threw to him in this game versus the plays that we had set up for him in the other game. I know it looks the same, but we were able to clear out the middle a lot better, and it was all open for him to come inside and owned the entire inside of that Giants defense.
Yeah, and no matter where he was lining up,
you didn't have
outside
to worry
or
about
slot.
safeties coming down. Somehow they were able to clear things out to where the safeties weren't able to key on CeeDee Lamb because there were a lot of times when he and that corner were isolated, and that is not what that cornerback wanted.
And he pointed out that the touchdown pass, it was one of the few times, if only time, that they single covered him because they were doubling him quite a bit.
But they were still able to find ways to get him the ball.
Get him the ball because he was on the move crossing.
And let's call it what it is, guys. That pass to CeeDee Lamb, that was one of the best passes you're going to see Dak Prescott throw. That's what you call throwing someone open, because once he got it, once CD got the leverage on the cornerback, you throw it inside to where Drew Pearson did this to me all the time. He broke my thumb doing that crap. I'm still pissed off about it. But he as he gets the leverage on you, he brings the shoulder inside. They threw it inside to him because the cornerback's leverage is going this way now. CD came and got the ball going this way. Cornerback's out of it after that. His leverage is gone. And I don't know what the hell the safety was doing coming over, but to be able to fit it inside of both of them,
right,
that made that safety look as foolish as he looked.
He said afterwards that they said something about, well, what's your mindset when you get man coverage? He goes, score a touchdown.
Yeah.
He goes, and so we were talking to Dak. We were walking towards the bus, and I said, when did you realize that it was man coverage? He goes, immediately.
Yeah.
And he goes, and I got
they saw it was a blitz coming.
Yeah,
blitz
and they
came from the right side.
And who picked up the blitz?
Hunter?
Nope. I thought it was Hunter at first. It was Deuce Vaughn.
Oh, was it? Okay.
It was Deuce Vaughn.
Did. He brought Deuce Vaughn over.
You're right.
Yeah, and no, that there must have been just one high safety.
Yeah,
one high safety came over.
I think you're right.
Okay, yeah.
But they were doubling him. Most of the time.
Well, he keyed him. He keyed on him. He keyed on him. Yeah.
And that was their guy, Banks. And they were cornerback short, or two cornerbacks short.
Exactly.
In the game.
Mm-hmm.
Rico, I think you saw what he can do if there's like a hole to run into.
Well, you can see what Zeke can do, too.
And Zeke,
Zeke was the same way.
Zeke,
right.
People get on Zeke all the time. Well, we saw Zeke look like Rico to me.
He's done. He's too old.
I mean,
well, did you see the screen pass again?
Yeah.
Get him in the open?
Right.
So, yeah.
The problem with the run game is they're having, and McCarthy talked about it this morning on his coach's show, they haven't gotten enough at bats to run the ball. When you're playing from behind.
Yeah.
Well, and they only
I got to say, guys, they had the defensive lineman going backwards every time. You got running backs putting their helmets into the chest of defensive linemen who are already compromised because they've been blocked backwards a little bit, created that softness. Every back. Lipkey did it. Zeke did it. And Dallo did. They put their chest into the lineman's, put their heads into the lineman's chest. 8 yards. 8 yards a pop at one time.
Yeah.
I was loving it. I was loving it.
And that's
they kept talking about how
what you
good their
need out of the
defensive
run
line
game.
was. They kept talking about how good their defensive line was. They didn't play well last
And they
night.
only had 23 runs still.
Mm-hmm. 23
They
for
were
81.
effective, though. They were effective.
And it doesn't matter that it was 3.5 yards. The average is out to 3.5 yards a carry.
Yeah. That was okay.
They were picking up yards on first down.
And it made it so easy for us on second and third.
Right.
That's how you end up getting drives.
I mean, think about it, how many 6-yard runs they had on first down, and they're in second.
But I thought Dak looked sharper this game.
He did.
Then the Ravens game, it seemed to be off a little bit.
He was.
And
we talked about, we tweeted about that.
Yeah.
Texted about that.
I think he was flustered in the pocket. That the protection wasn't as good. In this one, he had time to step up.
There were passes that were, even completed passes that were off, that were
like behind
the receiver and stuff.
That's why CD was he didn't want to say it doing his apology, but that's one of the reasons that he was also so upset, because he and Dak were just not on the same page. Even the one that he caught, I think it was against Baltimore, it was behind him on the slant, and it almost got ripped out of his hands because Dak gave the DB a chance.
Yep.
And so I told you guys, I said, and you even admitted it, some of his deep passes these last few weeks, last 3 quarters that we talked about, they just weren't there. This game, there was a difference.
I think it shows the importance of footwork for the quarterback and to be accurate on his passes. And
his pocket presence was much better last night.
I think it had a lot to do. There wasn't a lot of stuff at his feet, to keep him from being focused on what he needed to do.
Maybe it says something about not practicing in pads all week.
Well, that did cross my mind. I wondered.
All the practices were walkthroughs, believe me.
That's crazy.
They had their helmets on, right?
Wow.
I was talking to our buddy with the Giants, John Schmelk, and he goes, yeah, the Giants, there was all, practices with ball caps on. I said, hey, the Cowboys had their helmets on.
See, I wondered if Dak maybe took those 3 days to focus even more on his footwork and stuff.
Well, if you saw his pocket presence was better as he moved around. I didn't see him move around that much in the Baltimore game, but this game he was here, there, back here, and ready to throw when he came up. He looked like he was a little bit more comfortable, even with there were still people at his feet, and he still used his footwork to get out of trouble.
They only sacked him one time. One sack.
No.
So.
Oh, Nealon didn't get credited for a sack on his. It was a zone read, and I remember that he tackled Daniel Jones for a 5-yard loss. He got credit for a tackle for loss,
but it's not a sack.
They didn't, and I'm like, okay,
well,
because he could have. He could have, it was a zone read,
right? He still
but those RPOs, he could have been throwing it, but Nealon was on him so fast he didn't give him a chance.
Well, I just
but
thought
for a defensive lineman, you want the sack over the TFL, right?
Well, I just thought the way he ended up running the ball, he was bowing out. And I'm going, well, that doesn't look like a run because you're.
But you got to look
time.
at what the linemen are doing.
I know.
And I did go back and look, and the linemen were all down.
Which, by the way, he had his best game too. By the way, Nealon.
Yes, and on special teams too. This is the first time they used him on the kickoff team, according to the head coach. And he belongs on that kick coverage team. I mean, he had one tackle, and then he was in on another one too. He looks like he loves it.
They were hitting hard, guys. Yeah. They were hitting hard. Special teams, we were hitting hard because we were in position. We seemed like we were coached well. We seemed like we knew what was coming, and we reacted quickly with instincts.
By the way, the Dowdle touchdown. They picked up the flag. Do you know what they picked up the flag for?
I do not, because they never said it.
Yeah, they never said it. They speculated on TV that they threw it in the vicinity of Beebe. And and so I think it was Herb Street who speculated that they had him for a hold. You go back and look at it, and he didn't reach the guy that he wanted to hold. It didn't look like to me. But it looked like he was maybe a yard or two downfield on it.
Oh.
And so I thought that they threw it maybe for that reason. But if you go back and look at it, when Dak released the ball, he still had 1 foot on the line of scrimmage, and they give him a little leeway there.
It was definitely for what they thought was a hold. Because
McCarthy told me this morning that an official told him it was for a face mask on the other team, and then it was a face mask on the Giants that an official saw, and then after conversing with each other, they picked up the flag. And so they went to McCarthy and said, it's a face mask on the Giants. And McCarthy's like, so is there a touchdown?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, touchdown's good.
Well, there was
because he was calling the next play. He was ready to call the next play.
Why didn't they just say, hey, we got a face mask penalty and it's declined? Why didn't they just do that?
They could have done that.
But that's what you're supposed to do.
That's right. You could. They were confused.
He was in one of the line judge's ears, like vehemently at one point. He was just chewing on the guy. I think it was right before half or something, and didn't know that he.
So it's important.
He didn't tell you what he was.
It's important for people to know that the flag was not picked up for a Cowboy penalty.
Right.
It was a Giants penalty.
Right,
the flag
right.
was picked up for. But
they
to your
kept-
point, they should have. Okay, in that case, they scored a touchdown. It doesn't matter. So just go and say it was declined.
You have to
Yeah.
document it.
That's
Yeah,
But I'd
it's
sure like to be kicking off at the 50.
Because there's the conspiracy theories out there that, they picked up the flag because they want the Cowboys to win the game, whatever. And the penalty was not on the Cowboys. The penalty they thought they saw was not on the Cowboys.
Yeah,
it was
well,
on the
there
Giants.
was no conspiracy with 15 penalties called, 11 assessed.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All right. Anything else you need to?
I think we're good till Monday, right?
Yes, we are.
I keep thinking
I'll be
today's
here.
Monday.
Oh, you're going to be.
You're going to be here. All right.
Can we do a victory? Can we do the fight song again on Monday? Just to kick
Might
off
as
the
well.
week. Yeah,
You might as
that's right.
well.
And Mickey. Mickey, who's Missouri playing this week?
Bye.
Okay, bye everybody. OU's at Auburn.
Yeah.
And Grambling is in town.
Are they
town.
are they favored at Auburn?
I think they actually are somehow.
I think we also
Which
have
tells you about the fortunes of the football program at Auburn.
Alabama, Georgia, right?
That's right. Alabama, Georgia tomorrow
That's
night.
gonna be a good one.
All right, and so it will be. You need to provide producer Supreme with the Grambling fight song, and we'll have a victory Monday for Grambling.
I sure will.
Okay, all right, and that does it for another week of broadcasting here on Mick Shots, and we will see you again on Monday at high noon.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!